and welcome everyone to Kritya International Poetry Festival 2021. This is day 6 of our 13-day journey, commencing our second session of the day. We have an amalgamation of poets from India and around the globe joining us today. Let me invite our guests on stage now. First, we have Anju Makhija-Ji joining us from India. Next, we have Moëz Majed joining us from Tunisia. Then we have Vadim Terёhin joining us from Russia. Next, we have Mohsen Radhaji joining us from Turkey. We have Yesudas joining us from India. And finally, Malia Swami from India. We also have Mita who will be reading the translations today. And our relentless and encouraging Kritya's Festival Director, Ratri Saxena ji joining us. On behalf of everyone, on behalf of Kritya, I welcome all of you. Before we begin, I request Rati ji to say a few words.
Namaskar. Welcome to Kritya International Poetry Festival 2021. This is the festival we have started in 2005.
That problem is with
and
my
now it
system
is,
then.
Now it is the 15th issue of the festival. Kritya was the only nomadic poetry festival. We used to go to different part of country, Punjab, because you know that India has many languages, many states, and many a different kind of cultures. So we used to go to the audience with our poets to different languages. The languages are very important for us. It was nomadic poetry festival. Then it is the poetic therapeutic festival. We used to go to hospitals, prisons, orphanage, old age homes, villages, schools, colleges, and many other places with our poets. We never enjoy sitting on the dais and a big tent and lot of show off and reading our poetry to the city audience only. We go to real audience. In this pandemic time, Kritya was doing its work with dedication. We had one poetry festival for 10 days with the video in which 300 poets around the world were presented in 10 days. Then we have 3 days Central American Poetry Festival. We have 75 Kritya talk in which we were talking to musicians, singers, and dancers, politicians, journalists, artists, even small filmmakers. So we are just trying to cope this difficult time with poetry. Now, after this second pandemic, when everything was shattered, our mind, our heart, our faith, everything was shattered, we again came with this poetry festival. Just to show that words have power. And this power only let us live in this world. Today, unfortunately, my internet in my city, I had a very strong connection, but that connection is also became some defected, and I have to use mobile. And my age people are not good in mobile because it was difficult for us to learn the type, and then we have to use thumb. So it is very difficult. And if I make mistake, please excuse me. So I welcome you all, such a wonderful poets like Vadim Terёhin, who's from Russia. Moëz is such a wonderful poet who writes in French, who belonged to a very, very strong poetic family. And that is why he stopped writing in Arabic in his father's language, because he wanted to create his own identity. Anju Makhija-Ji is always with Kritya and always encouraging us. I always appreciate the way she comes and comments. D. Yesudas is a very strong, Malayalam poetry is very strong. And you know that Malayalam poetry grows in the village, in the ground, in between the farmers, between the fishermen, between the people who are related to the earth. And you can find out the power of land, the power of earth in this. Mohsen was here. He is from Iran, but he lives in US, and now he is in Turkey. So he's there. Malia Swami, I'm very happy to listen your poetry in a South Indian language, because we have two poets. They are actually representative South Indian language, which are very, very important. And Mita Das is our team, and she is going to read translation into Hindi. I expect others also to join in due time. And now I welcome you again, and I give my mic to Vaishnavi. So Vaishnavi, over to you.
Thank you, Ratima. Your speech was very, it was really great. And I understand that we all have technical issues. So I know you're trying your best. So thank you so much for that. Let us now begin the session. First, I would like to invite Anju Makhija-ji on stage. Anju Makhija is a poet, playwright, and translator. She has published 3 poetry collections and has co-edited 3 anthologies related to partition, women, and young readers. Her plays have been staged in India and abroad. Anju's awards include the Sahitya Academy English Translation Prize. She has also been on the English Advisory Board for Sahitya Academy. Welcome, Anju-ji.
Am I unmuted? No. Hello. Can I be heard?
We can hear you.
Vaishnavi?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, firstly, of course, I'd like to thank the amazing woman who we know as Rati Saxena. It's, this festival with 150 poets from across the globe. And it's just wonderful that she can do that. And thank you for that, Rati. Really, thank you for inviting me too. And I'm really honored to be with all these people here from different parts of the world. I'm not sure they understand, but I know we have good translators here, so they will eventually understand. Now, we all have certain time limits, so without further ado, I'd like to tell you that will be poems. They are short poems, and the theme of the festival is peace and oneness and togetherness. These are all very noble words, but I think this is only possible if certain issues are really dealt with, especially a poet heard nowadays everywhere. So much goes viral, and the fact that there is so much interference from the government, whether it be in Twitter or FB, that means they are concerned about what we are saying. And I think we should say it quite boldly. So the issues that I picked up are 3 issues which are close to my heart, and I guess to everybody's heart here. And the first issue and the first poem is related to the age-old communal violence issue. And from the partition days, we've been facing this. Unless this is resolved or dealt with even further, there's no easy solution. But I'm sure poets with their we'll find something. So I'd like to start a poem called, it's by a from Pakistan, called Sheikh Ayaz. He was one of the greatest poets. And this is from an anthology that I call Freedom and Fishers, which I had translated with Mendasani and Dr. Arjun Shah. So it goes, the Ali's Declaration. Say today, I have no country. The universe I call home. I have no name. A human being I am. I have no Bible, no Gita, no Quran. The earth is my mother in centuries-old chains have been broken. Are you aware of that? Centuries-old chains have been broken. Are you aware of that? Break it today. Break it today. The prison of your mind. Say today. Say today. The Ali's Declaration. Are we translating in Hindi or something, or are we? Or should I just go ahead?
Ma'am. You
Vaishnavi?
can please go ahead.
Okay, just. Okay,
Can
thank
you
you.
hear me, ma'am?
I think the second issue is beyond my. Is it loud enough? Yeah. Okay, so my second poem is about the politicians. I think they have been troubling us quite a lot, and it's time we spoke up. And we should be reading our poems related to politics as well. Now, the poem I have chosen is called Elections Maharashtra. I live in Mumbai, which is in Maharashtra, and whenever there are elections here, all the loudspeakers go out, literally loudspeakers loud, and I think most politicians conduct themselves in this detestable. And this poem, when there was someone who had come to a small village, and I happened to be there, and they were behaving in atrocious ways, and I'm happy I wrote it, and I'm very happy that I can read it here. Elections Maharashtra, where local artisans create wisdom from clay, sing deities into the riverbed, where sugarcane juice froths, and men on string cots ejaculate to a beat, salute different flags, while cool under the umbrella, Shivaji stands, overseeing dry glass, polythene bags. A bird dives, plunges into the stone's eyes. Mics blast Maharti's gags. Idle bleed or perspire, or utter words men can hear. Gods puff canopy. Red tongues roar, tails wag. I'll end off with this last poem, which is the third issue is children. And as we are always ignoring our children, the underprivileged children in India, of course, have a terrible, and they cannot speak up. So, a series of poems where I have taken the voice of these children. The series is My Voices. Since they cannot speak up, I thought I should say a few words. So I shall try and read in their voice if I can, which is not easy, but I shall try. So the first poem in the series, and I'll be reading just one, it is called Zari Saris. My body is covered with sweat and shine and sweat. I live in Dharavi. I get up at 6 a.m. I live in Dharavi. I get up at 6 a.m. My fingers move quickly, stitching gold wires for saris ordered by Bollywood. My body is covered with sweat and shine and sweat. I bathe once a week. Fleece set between my fingers. I chew Zarda daily. I live in a chawl like a frightened deer. My body is covered with sweat and shine. Not complaining, though I should. I'm not complaining, though I should. I'm the smartest from our group. My boss is a crook. He traps tribal children and brings them to the city. Someone stop him, please. Okay, that's it. End. Okay, Vaishnavi, that's it.
Thank you, Anjuji. Your poems, though, they had such vivid visual imagery. It was a pleasure to listen. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Moëz Majed on stage, who will be reading his poems in French. Moëz is a Tunisian poet with 6 poetry collections to his credit. He has been published in Tunisia, France, and Jordan, and his poetry is translated and published in many languages. And I think at the beginning of the session, Radhaji had also given us an introduction. Welcome, Moëz.
Hi, welcome to everybody, and thank you for inviting me.
Please go ahead with your poetry.
Okay. C'est une flamme de camphre pur de Barus, saveur d'empires engloutis dans de grandes délivrances, saveur d'Orient languissant, saveur d'ambre et de luxure, saveur exquise de paresse, se tordant comme un amour adolescent, empêtré dans les affres de l'exil. C'est une mer pourpre, comme un rayon de lune brune, rendant grâce à la gloire du corsaire, triomphant à la tribune. Ô toi corsaire triomphant des grandes rages du gisant, dans quel présage as-tu vu le visage de l'Orient? Ah, que de douleurs insoupçonnables, que de silences impénétrables, que de grandes patiences imperméables à l'oubli. Ah, qu'as-tu saisi des flots superbes de tes âges, et quand là-bas, au loin, très loin de là où règne la parole, sur la crête même du silence, la brume tissera lentement son langage. Alors seulement cessera ta souffrance. Là-bas, sur une terre d'argile tiède, vit un peuple de rois. Gare à sa colère. Sans doute faudra-t-il, pour convier l'orage, de grands rituels et d'obscurs arcanes, cultiver patiemment la colère des dieux, rompre la retenue des ombres. Sans doute faudra-t-il quelques trahisons. Ô toi corsaire triomphant des grandes rages du gisant, Laisse donc courir l'ombre fraîche de l'orgueil sur nos steppes desséchées. Ô première pluie après l'été. N'était-ce donc que de l'argile, cette peau que je croyais mienne? Ô pluie de poivre et d'oracle dans la gésine d'un peuple né. Colère et outrance et l'effroyable panique. Jadis, la peur. Demain, l'enfance. Là-haut, l'en haute mer se charge de colère. Elle brisera dans une heure l'orgueil du rocher. Et ici-bas, sur cette terre d'argile tiède, misérable, impassible mais fier, vit un peuple de rois, forgerons des orages. Et à l'appel du corps, présent, nous le fûmes sur le champ des moissons. Est-ce faillir que de hâter la chute d'un tronc de bois nu? Bien d'autres encore consentiront ce jour à l'ivresse et la mort. Ils marcheront indifférents à la rugueuse tyrannie, et à la nuit tombée, ils rentreront chez eux, le devoir accompli. L'orgueil, flamme de camphre pur de Barus, saveur d'empires engloutis dans de grandes délivrances. Ô, dis donc, ma mère, ma sœur, mon enfant, tu pleurais, j'imagine, de nous voir périr. Le déshonneur est une mort qui nous sied à ton rang, et à l'orient des âges, frémissait déjà ta silhouette altière. Ce soir, s'endormiront dans de paisibles clairières la lune et son amant incestueux. Nul ne peut se prévaloir de plus ample ordonnance. Nul ne peut quérir semblable gloire. Ô toile orageuse, la sombre, la farouche, les voilà sur ta trace, tout un peuple d'amants. Quête de grandeur que soupèse l'éternité, présente au solstice de l'âge et en habit d'apparat. Ah, l'éternité, un songe de marin aux prises avec l'effroi. Qui donc osera l'oubli? Qui donc m'eût donné la grâce de boire le silence d'une éternité d'albâtre? Car toi, grande, mince et pâle, comme une reine d'elfe, adamantine, tu les fais vivre et périr dans la soif. Et j'entends ton pas qui s'approche derrière ma nuque, et je souris. Ô gisant que fut mon silence lacéré par l'affront, rage des premières amours nourries par une pluie d'automne, nuit, longue et sombre nuit avant que ne claque la foudre. Et la voilà, chaude et rampante, en mouvement, comme chair qui frissonne. Peuplade que rassemble la soif, peuplade que disperse l'averse. Ah, grande plaine de Zama. Merci.
Thank you, Moëz. Mita-ji, now please read the first two parts in Hindi.
Okay, thank you, Vaishnavi. I read Mazid Mems, Hindi translation. यह लपट है शुद्ध बरूश कपूर की. यह लपट है शुद्ध बरूश कपूर की. यह स्वाद है साम्राज्य की मुक्ति का. यह स्वाद है मंद पूरब का. यह स्वाद है वसा और वासना का. एक शर्मीले किशोर अलसता से भरे प्रेम निर्वासन की गर्दन मरोड़। यह समंदर बैंजनी है जैसे कि चंद्रमा की अंधेरी किरण हो, जहाज को रोशनी देती हुई, जो अपने स्टैंड पर खड़ा है। एक और सर, इस स्थगित के महान क्रोध पर विजय पाओ। एक और सर, इस स्थगित के महान क्रोध पर विजय पाओ। तुमने किस चित्र से पूरब के चेहरे को देखा? तुमने किस चित्र से पूरब के चेहरे को देखा? ओह, कल्पना के पश्चातल में यह कितना दर्द है, कितना अभेद्य मीन, कितनी उम्मीदें गुमनामी के लिए अभेद्य। अपने वक्त से क्या हासिल किया तुमने? जब तुम वहां दूर थे, इतनी दूरी पर जहां शब्द जन्म लेते हैं, उसी सन्नाटे में धुंध हौले हौले अपनी भाषा बुनेगा, तभी तुम्हारी पीड़ा खत्म होगी। सेकंड पोएम। वहीं धरती पर गर्म दिनों में राजा की प्रजा रहती है। वहीं धरती पर गर्म दिनों में राजा की प्रजा रहती है, कोप से बचती हुई। निस्संदेह तूफान को आमंत्रित करने के लिए उन्हें भव्य आयोजन की तैयारी करनी होगी, साजिश भी। परछाइयों को संगम से खंडित करना होगा। विलासक किसी तरह के धोखे की भी गुंजाइश है। हे कौरसर, बेपरवाह के क्रोध को भी जीतना होगा। सवारी के लिए ही गर्व की ताजगी भरी परछाई हमारे सूखे मैदानों में। ये गर्मी के बाद पहली बारिश, ये गर्मी के बाद पहली बारिश, क्या वहां मिट्टी के सिवाय कुछ नहीं था? मुझे लगा कि वह मेरी त्वचा है। मुझे लगा कि वह मेरी त्वचा है। हे काली मिर्च और देवाज्ञाएं, लोगों के श्रम पर बारिश, चौतरफा आतंक, भयावह दहशत, पुराने समय में डर, कल और बचपन, समंदर के ज्वार पर क्रोध का उफान, ऊंचे समुद्र पर प्रफुल्लित क्रोध से भर रहा है। घंटे भर में वह चट्टान का दम तोड़ देगा। एक घंटे में वह चट्टान के दम को तोड़ देगा। यहाँ नीचे गर्म माटी वाली इस धरती पर गरीबी, गंदगी राजाओं की प्रजा रहती है, भावहीन लेकिन घमंडी, जो लोहार है तूफानों। इस कविता का अनुवाद यानी कि ट्रांसलेशन प्रति सक्सेना ने किया। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Mita ji. Now I will read the last 3 parts of the 5-part poem in English. Part 3. At the horn's summons, we were present on the harvest field. Was it a failure to hasten the fall of a lifeless tree trunk? Today, many others again will agree to stupor and death. They will march, indifferent to the rough tyranny, and at nightfall, they'll go back to their homes, duty complete. Pride, flame of pure Paris camphor, flavor of empires consumed by great release. Oh, Dido, my mother, my sister, my child, I'd imagine you cried, seeing us dying. Disgrace is a death that does not suit your rank. And your haughty outline quivered already at the orient of the ages. Tonight, the moon and his incestuous lover will sleep in peaceful clearings. Nobody can claim greater orders. No one can bring similar glory. Part 4. O stormy one, dark, untamable, here they are on your scent, an entire people of lovers, quest after greatness that gauges an eternity present at the solstice of its own age, dressed for ceremony. Ah, eternity! A dream of sailors embattled by fear. Who, therefore, will dare forgetfulness? Who, therefore, could give me the grace to drink the silence of an eternity in alabaster? Because you, tall, slim, and pale as the queen of elves, hard as diamond, you make them live and die in thirst. I hear your steps approach behind my neck, and I smile. Part 5. O death, that was my own silence torn by offense. Rage of first loves nourished by an autumn rain. Night, long and dark night, before lightning strikes. And there it is, warm, slithering, moving like trembling flesh. Tribe gathered by thirst, tribe scattered by rain. Ah, great plains of Zama. Thank you, Moëz. It was very powerful and impactful. I could feel the impact when you were reading in French as well. So thank you for the lovely poetry reading.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Vadim Terёhin, who will be reading his poems in Russian. Vadim is a poet, co-chairman of Russian Writers Union, vice president of the International Academy of Russian Literature, Moscow. He has also won several literary awards as well. Welcome, Vadim.
Hello, dear friends. Greeting from Russia. I recite 6 my poem about terrible infection pandemic. Апокалипсис. Несущий страшную заразу, подобен вычерному сглазу, я на просторах бытия для всех надолго стану главным, незримым, властным, своенравным. Ты не главным, тоже я. Без цвета, запаха, летучий, я вездесущий и могучий, и у меня хватило сил, когда при мировой огласке, на праздник праздников, на Пасху, я даже Бога отменил. Всему имея сопричастность, несу я сразу в жизни ясность, что человеку человек не друг и брат, а только частность, прямая горечь и опасность, как некто снизу нам предрек. Меня повсюду будет много, я властью, данной не от Бога, земное племя обвиню во всех грехах, знаю в участке, и с помощью обычной маски я этот мир разъединю. Translate or a second?
Vadim, I would request you to read all 6 together so that I can translate them in series as well.
Second poem. Неужто неспослано свыше, что землю в положенный срок захватят летучие мыши и вирус, их главный пророк? Неужто в сражениях за место под солнцем в клетушках квартир держать под домашним арестом он сможет взбесившийся мир? Мы строим вокруг оборону, надеясь вот так по-людски, что скоро грибную корону сорвем с его круглой башки, и мир сразу станет понятен, и правды взойдет торжество, и столько расплывчатых пятен мы спишем тогда на него. Third poem. Говорят, что каждый модник, чтоб от века не отстать, должен впредь носить намордник, на собратьев не чихать. И на долгие недели, будто брачное кольцо, человечество одели эту тряпку на лицо. Обязали чувством долга, намекнули, что беда, может быть, пришла надолго, но лучше навсегда. Ни ответа, ни привета, непонятно, что к чему. И на свете нету света, что рассеивает тьму. Фо. Пускай Господь народ хранит, и лишь о том мы Бога просим, что нас терзающий ковид развился в болдинскую осень. И мы, как Пушкин в карантин, куда теперь любой зачислен, восстанем из своих глубин для торжества свободной мысли. Возьмемся за тяжелый труд, омоются чернильной влаги, и рифмы бойко потекут. Рука потянется к бумаге. 5. Посещал всех без опаски, был в любое время вхож. Но теперь посредством маски я забыл, как я хорош. Сердце требует простора, и хороших новостей, но сегодня я как Зорро всюду прячусь от властей, берегусь от злой природы и наверняка пойму ценность внутренней свободы через внешнюю тюрьму. 6. Этим нечаянным вирусным летом я бы хотел быть только поэтом. Семени сеять, поля не пахать, птицы небесной по жизни летать. Братья и сестры, дрозды и синицы, что же с нас взять? Мы пернатые птицы, что же последнее жадно отнять? Право чирикать, свистеть, ворковать. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vadim. Now I will read this set of 6 poems called Apocalypse, the English translation. So first one, carrying a terrible infection, like a pretentious evil eye, I am in the vastness of being. I will be the main one for everyone for a long time, invisible, domineering, wayward, and I am not the main one either. Colorless, odorless, volatile, I am omnipresent and powerful. And I was strong enough when, with worldwide publicity, on the holiday of holidays, on Easter, I even cancelled God. All having a sense of ownership, I will immediately bring clarity to life. What is a person? A person, not a friend and brother, but only a particular one. Direct bitterness and danger, as someone from below predicted to us. There will be a lot of me everywhere. I am a power not given from God. I will accuse the earth tribe in all sins, rotting in precinct, and using a normal mask, I will divide this world. Second one. Was it sent down from above? What to do in due time? Bats will take over, and the virus is their main prophet? Really, in the battles of all place, under the sun, in the cubicles of apartments, kept under house arrest, he can make the world go mad? We are building a defense around it, hoping like this in a human way, that soon the mushroom crown, let's get it off his round head. And the world will immediately become clear, and the truth will rise in triumph. And so many blurry spots, we'll write it off then. Third one. They say that every fashionista, to keep up with the age, must continue to wear a muzzle. Don't sneeze at your fellows. For the weeks to come, like a wedding ring, humanity was clothed, this rag on your face, obliged by a sense of duty, hinted that trouble, maybe she came for a long time, will better forever. No response, no greeting, it's not clear what's what, and there is no light in this world that dispels this darkness. Fourth one, let the Lord keep the people, and that is all we ask of God. To us tormenting COVID, developed into the golden autumn, and the world like Pushkin in quarantine, where everyone is now enrolled, rise from its depth for the celebration of free thought, to take up hard work. It'll be washed in ink, and rhymes will flow glibly, the hand will reach for the paper. Fifth one, visited all without fear, was at any time in my house, but now by means of a mask, I forgot how good I am. The heart requires space and good news, but today I am like Zorro. I hide from the authorities everywhere. Beware of evil nature. I'm sure I'll understand the value of inner freedom through the outer prison. Sixth one, this unintentional viral in the summer. I would only like to be a poet. No seed to sow, no fields to plow. Fly like a bird in the sky through life. Brothers and sisters, thrushes and tits. What can we take from us? We are feathered birds. What is the latter to take away greedily? The right to tweet, whistle, coo? Thank you, Vadim. This poetry is true to our current situation with the pandemic. It is a reflection of what we are going through. So thank you for that. Next, I would like to call on stage Mohsen Radhaji from Turkey. He will be reading in English and Farsi. Mohsen is a poet and a literature translator. He has published several poetry books in Farsi and English. Mohsen also holds a PhD in counseling psychology and is a psychologist and language professor by profession. Welcome, Mohsen.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me well now?
I
Can
think
you
we
hear
can,
me?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, well, thank you for this opportunity. And my psychology side of the personality, I was thinking earlier this morning that due to the pandemic, everybody has mask over. So I thought some people, some of us, maybe me, I might as well like to keep my mask on even when the virus is gone. So I'm going to go read three poetries, two originally recited in English, and one originally in Farsi, then translated into English. My poetry is mostly concerned with nature and war. You know, I was a teenager when the war started, where I was living between Iran and Iraq. So I'm deeply impressed by what happened during those years. And the first one is called A Gourd of Night. Notice, bend down, white beard sweeping the sky floor, guards overnight, for the night must be paused, though in distress lingers over its watch point, the moon. Let us hopscotch over the tin roof, says the young comrade, upright, white teeth, dark beard, rising head from behind the levee. No foe must charge, I return, fast, proud, and pleased on my stand. Sun would rise high and shines over us soon. The second poem. The right side of the T-shape. So between Iran and Iraq, the swamp, the wetlands, they call them Jazal Majnun, the wandering island. So, and then the Iranians made a T-shaped road right in the middle of those wetlands. Hills in deep green, left alone behind us. Swamp, bamboo reeds, and the T-shaped road, kept apart, half green, half dry. Moving islands wandering round, familiar directions, artillery shells, never mind the turtles, mishatched eggs at the right side of the T-shaped road. The third one and the last one, originally Farsi, is called Anar Pomegranate. First I read the Farsi. انار آغاز انجام پاییز بود. شب حمله سکوت روی شب آوار شده بود. انار آوردند. دست به دست انارها چرخیدند. یکی کال، یکی کپک زده، یکی شیرین و سرخ. انار من دلش نگاه کردم، پرخون پردانه. به پشت سر چرخیدم، پل شکسته بود. هیچ سربازی به خانه باز نخواهد گشت. Pomegranate. Pomegranate was the start and the end of the fall. At the attack, sundown, silence rumbled heavily over the night. Pomegranate was distributed hand to hand, one ripe, one stale, one ripened. My pomegranate, fresh, with so many seeds, all ready. I looked back over my shoulders. The bridge was down. Not a single soldier would return back home after tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohsen. Your poems were so profound and so deep. I could feel the pain of the war.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
it.
Thank you. Now, I would like to call on Yesudas, but Radhaji, I think he's not here. If so, shall I move on to the next poet? Okay, he's here. Fine. So now I would like to invite Yesudas on stage, who will be reading his poems in Malayalam. Yesudas is a poet from Thiruvananthapuram. He has 4 books published and has been awarded with many literary awards. He is also part of the mother tongue movement in Malayalam. Welcome, Yesudas.
Okay, കൃത്യ ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ സാഹിത്യോത്സവത്തിൽ പങ്കാളിയാകാൻ ക്ഷണിച്ചതിലുള്ള നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുന്നു. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് മലയാളത്തെ പ്രതിനിധീകരിച്ച് കവിത അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിൽ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അഭിമാനമുണ്ട്. മലയാളത്തിന് വേണ്ടി ലോകത്തിലെ എല്ലാ ഭാഷാ കവികളെയും അഭിവാദ്യം ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ കവിത അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. ആദ്യ കവിത അപ്പനുമൊത്തുള്ള കാർ യാത്രകൾ. അപ്പൻ രാവിലെ കാറിൽ കയറിയിരുന്നിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു, എനിക്ക് മൃഗശാല കാണണം, കോവളം ചുറ്റണം, പൊന്മുടിയിൽ ഒന്നിരിക്കണം, ഒരു സിനിമ കാണണം. മൃഗശാല കണ്ടു, കോവളത്തേക്ക് വിട്ടു, കടലിൽ കുളിച്ചു, സന്ധ്യയ്ക്ക് പുലിമുരുകൻ കണ്ടു. പിറ്റേന്നായിരുന്നു പൊന്മുടി. വഴിക്ക് കല്ലാറിൽ ഇറങ്ങി, കാൽ നനച്ചു, മുഖം കഴുകി. പിന്നെ പൊന്മുടിയിൽ മുകർന്നു നിന്ന കാറ്റിനൊപ്പം പൊൻവെയിൽ കാഞ്ഞു. അപ്പനൊപ്പം ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ലോകത്തിന് മറ്റൊരു കാന്തി. തിരികെ ചുരമിറങ്ങുമ്പോൾ അപ്പൻ പറഞ്ഞു, നിനക്ക് വളവുകൾ അത്ര വഴങ്ങുന്നില്ല, ഞാൻ കാറോടിക്കാം. അപ്പൻ കാറോടിച്ചു. തിരികെ വീട്ടിലെത്തുമ്പോൾ അമ്മ പറഞ്ഞു, അപ്പനും മോനും കറങ്ങി നടന്നോ? ഇവിടെ വീട്ടിലിരിക്കുന്നവർക്കുമുണ്ട് മോഹങ്ങളൊക്കെ. നാളെ നമ്മൾ ഒന്നിച്ച്. പണ്ടേ മരിച്ചുപോയ അപ്പൻ പണ്ടേ മരിച്ചുപോയ അമ്മയോട് ഇങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞതിന് ഞാൻ സാക്ഷി. ദിസ് ഇസ് മൈ ഫസ്റ്റ് പോയം.
Thank you, sir. I will read the English translation now.
Okay.
Car journeys with father. After getting into the car in the morning, father said, I want to see the zoo, wander around Kovalam, sit in Ponmudi, watch a movie, see the zoo, went to Kovalam, bathed in the sea, watched Puli Murugan in the evening. Ponmudi was on the next day. On the way, we stopped at Kallar, wet our feet, washed our face. Then at Ponmudi, with a gust of wind, we warmed in the golden sun. When with father, the world glows differently. On the way back, father said, you do not bend the curves well. I will drive the car. Father drove. When we reached back home, mother said, let Appa and son walk around. Those who are at home also have desires. Tomorrow we will be together. I witnessed long dead father saying so to mother who had died long ago. Thank you.
May I read the next poem?
Yes, please.
ജൈവ ബുദ്ധൻ. ബുദ്ധനെ സംബന്ധിച്ചുള്ള ഒരു ആലോചന. ജൈവ ബുദ്ധൻ. കൊടും വെയിലത്ത് അലയുന്നവനായല്ലാതെ ബുദ്ധനെ സങ്കല്പിക്കാൻ എനിക്കായിരുന്നില്ല. ദുഃഖകാന്തിയിൽ മുങ്ങിയോനെ. പിന്നെ ഞാൻ കണ്ടു, തണൽ തേടിപ്പോകുമ്പോൾ കനിച്ചോട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് മരങ്ങളിൽ മരബുദ്ധനെ, ജലസ്ഥലികളിൽ വെയിൽ കടന്നെത്തുമ്പോൾ ജലബുദ്ധനെ, പോക്കിൽ വഴിബുദ്ധനെ, കണ്ടു പർവ്വതങ്ങളിൽ ശൈലബുദ്ധനെ, രസനയിൽ ഗന്ധങ്ങളിൽ മറ്റൊരു സാന്ദ്രബുദ്ധനെ, നിഗൂഢതയിൽ കുളിർബുദ്ധനെ, തേജബുദ്ധനെ ഇരുളാണ്ട ഭയസ്ഥലികളിൽ കാൺമൂ ഞാനൊരു ഗൗരവ ബുദ്ധനെ, കാൺമൂ ഞാനൊരു ഗൗരവ ബുദ്ധനെ എങ്ങും ധ്യാനസ്ഥമായി. This is my second poem.
Thank you, Yesudas ji. I will read the English translation now. Bio Buddha. I was unable to imagine Buddha except wandering in extreme sunlight, he who drowned in melancholy. Then I sense tree Buddha in the trees from the fruit base when looking for a shade, aqua Buddha in the water bodies while passing out from the hot sun, way Buddha on the journey, Mount Buddha in the high ranges, another dense Buddha of taste, of sense, cool Buddha in the mystery, radiant Buddha in the places of terror. I see everywhere a lofty Buddha meditating. Thank you.
Okay, the third poem. ആൾക്കൂട്ടം. ആൾക്കൂട്ടം. അതിനുശേഷം ആൾക്കൂട്ടം പിരിഞ്ഞുപോയി. അതിൻ്റെ ജാതിയിലേക്ക് മതത്തിലേക്ക്, കടത്തിലേക്ക്, അടച്ചുറപ്പിലേക്ക്, സുഖത്തിലേക്ക്, ദുഃഖത്തിലേക്ക്, വലിയവൻ വലുതെന്ന പോലെ, ചെറിയവൻ ചെറുതെന്ന പോലെ, ആൾക്കൂട്ടം ഭയാനകമായതിൻ്റെ നിശബ്ദതയ്ക്കുള്ളിലേക്ക് പിരിഞ്ഞുപോയി. ആരുമാരും ഒന്നിനും സാക്ഷിയായില്ല, ഉത്തരവാദിയായില്ല. നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ കാണുന്നത് തല തകർന്ന്, തുടചതഞ്ഞ്, വരിയുടഞ്ഞ്, ചോര ചൂടിക്കിടക്കുന്ന ഇരുണ്ട ദേഹം. അതിനെ നമ്മുടെ സംസ്കാരം എത്ര വേഗം സംസ്കരിക്കും? നോക്കുക, കിടക്കുന്ന പിടച്ചിലിൽ ചവിട്ടിക്കൊണ്ട് ആൾക്കൂട്ടം പിരിഞ്ഞുപോയി. താങ്ക് യു. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്.
Thank you. Now I will read the English translation. The crowd. Then the crowd dispersed into its caste, into its religion, into the safety and security of its depths, into its comfort, into its grief, as big is, as small is. The crowd dispersed into the horror of its silence. No one bore witness, no one was responsible. What we see now is a shattered head, crushed thighs, was castrated, lying bloody with a dark body. Our culture oversees how fast the corpse can be buried. Look, the crowd dispersed, stomping and shivering, lying there. Thank you, Yesudas ji.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure reading your poems in English. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to call upon our last poet for this session, Malia Swami, who will be reading her poems in Kannada. Moulya is a poet with a poetry anthology published. Many of her writings have won several awards and have been published in several newspapers and magazines. She has also won the Toto Award for creative writing at the Kannada Literary Prize. Welcome, Moulya.
Hello. Firstly, I'd like to thank Rati Saxena ma'am and entire Kritya team for offering me this wonderful opportunity. I'm delighted. Today, I'm going to read 3 of my poems. I'll begin with my first poem. ಕತ್ತಲು ಮೌನದ ಮುನಿಸಸದ್ದು. ಅಂಜು ಬುರುಕಿ ಸಾಸಿವೆ ಡಬ್ಬದೊಳಗಿಷ್ಟು ಆತುಮ ಮತ್ತು ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಗಳೆರಡನ್ನು ಅಡಗಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಅವರ ತಾಪದ ಎಣ್ಣೆಗೆ ನೂಕಿ ಹತ್ಯೆಗೈಯಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ನಾಪತ್ತೆ. ಮುಂಬಾಗಿಲ ಅಂಗಳದಲ್ಲಿ ರಂಗೋಲಿಯ ರಟ್ಟೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರೀಕ್ಷೆಯ ಕಸುವನೂ ಬೆರೆಸಿ ಹೆಣೆದಿದ್ದೆ. ಯಾರದೋ ಪಾದದ ಗುರುತು ಪೆದ್ದು ನೋಟ ಬೀರುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಆ ನಗುಪಟದ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಹುಂಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿಷ್ಟು ನಾಳೆಗಳ ಉಳಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಕುಲುಕಿ ನೋಡಿದರೀಗ ಕತ್ತಲು ಮೌನ ಮುನಿಸಿದ ಸದ್ದು. ಅವನ ದಿಂಬಿನಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿಷ್ಟು ಹಸಿಕಾಂಕ್ಷೆಗಳ ಹರಡಿದ್ದೆ. ರಾತ್ರಿ ಕಳೆದು ಬೆಳಗು ಮೂಡುವ ಹೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಬೂದಿ ಮಾತ್ರವೇ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ. ಪೆಟ್ಟಿಗೆಯೊಳಗಿನ ಮಡಿಕೆ ಮುರಿಯದ ರೇಷ್ಮೆಯೊಳಗೆಷ್ಟೋ ಎದೆಯ ಚದುರಿದ ನಾದಗಳ ಬಿಕ್ಕು ಅವಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಹೊಳೆಯ ಬೆರಳುಗಳ ಯಾರೋ ಕೊಯ್ದ ಸುದ್ದಿ. ಕನ್ನಡಿಯ ಕೆನ್ನೆಗಿಷ್ಟು ನಗುವ ಮೆತ್ತಿ ಆವಿ ಹಬ್ಬಿದ ಗಾಜಿನ ಮಬ್ಬುಗಿವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನೋ ಪಿಸುಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಗುಟ್ಟು ಗುಟ್ಟಾಗಿಯೇ ಹಾರಿ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಎತ್ತಲೋ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೌರ್ಯ ದಾಪುಗಾಲಿಕ್ಕಿ ಹಗಲಿನಲೋ ಬಯಲಿನಲೋ ಎದೆಯುಬ್ಬಿಸಿ ಬಂದು ತಬ್ಬುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆನ್ನೆ ಸೀಳಲು ಖುದ್ದು ಧಾವಿಸುವ ಸಾಸಿವೆಯೊಳಗೂ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಕೆಡಿಸುವ ಹಿಕ್ಮತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಗಿರಲು ತುಲನೆಗಿಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಗಿಟ್ಟುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಹುಡುಗಿಯರಿಗೋ ಭ್ರಮೆಗಳ ಪೆಟ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ತಟ್ಟುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Over to Vaishnavi ma'am.
Thank you, Moulya. I will read the English translation now. The angered sound of dark silence, translated by Jai Srinivasa Rao. I, the timorous, had hidden in a box of mustard seeds, my soul and my sole witness, shoved into the hotness of its oil. They've been murdered. My witness has disappeared. On my front yard, I had blended and woven the lines of the rangoli with the vigor of hope. Somebody's footmark is giving a stupid look. I had saved a few tomorrows in the savings box behind the laughing portrait. When I shake it, now I hear the sound of darkness, the angered silence. I had strewn some raw hopes under his pillow. The night passed and the dawn broke, only ashes were left. I had hidden so many sobs of my heart's scattered notes inside the crisp folded silks in the wooden chest. I heard that somebody had chopped off the river's fingers. I smeared some smiles on the mirror's cheek and whispered all sorts of things into the cloudy ears of a steam-covered glass. My secrets, as secrets still, have flown away wherever. Here, cruelty does not arrive with long strides and puffed chest to embrace you in the broad daylight in open spaces. Inside the mustard seed too, they come running to slice your cheek, a trick to ruin your rumination. When things are such on balance, nothing is gained, and as for us girls, we don't hurt that easily by slaps of illusion. Thank you. Back to you, Moulya.
My second poem, ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧ. ಕೆಂಗಣ್ಣು ಬಿಡುವ ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ತಮ್ಮ ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತನಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮನೆ ಸೇರಿರುವ ಈ ಹೊತ್ತು ಗಡಿ ದಾಟುವ ಹೊಂಚು ಹೂಡುತ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. ನಮಗಾಗಿ ದಾರಿಗಾಣಿಸಲು ಯಾರೂ ಫರ್ಮಾನು ಹೊರಡಿಸದ ಈ ಕಡು ವಿರೋಧಿಗಳ ಊರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರಗಳಿಗೂ ಯಾರೋ ಅಸ್ಪೃಶ್ಯತೆಯ ಹಾಳು ಪಠ್ಯವನ್ನು ಉರುಹೊಡಿಸಿದಂತಿದೆ. ದಿಕ್ಕಾಪಾಲಾಗಿ ಬಿದ್ದಿರುವ ಕತ್ತಲಿಗೆ ಒರಾತವಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೇ ನಡೆದು ದಾರಿಯಾದ ಬಯಲಿನ ಉದ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಚರಿತ್ರೆಕಾರನ ಗಮನ ಸೆಳೆಯದ ರಕುತದ ಗುರುತುಗಳಿವೆ. ಮೈಗಾಯಗಳನ್ನು ತೋರಗೊಡದ ಹಗಲಿನೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುದ್ದಾಟ ಎಂದೋ ಮುಗಿದಿದೆ. ನಾವು ನಡೆಯಲೇಬೇಕು. ಪಾದಗಳಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾದು ಕಾದೇ ಚೂಪಾದ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ. ನಿಟ್ಟುಸಿರಿನ ಮಾತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬೆರೆಸಬಾರದು ಗಾಳಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದುಃಖದ ವಿಷವನ್ನು. ನಾವು ನಡೆಯಲೇಬೇಕು. ಮುಟ್ಟಕೂಡದ ಗಡಿಗಳನ್ನು ದಾಟುವುದಾದರೂ ಹೇಗೆ? ಬದಲಿಗೆ ಮೀಟಬೇಕು, ಮೀಟಬೇಕು. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಮೊನಚು ಬೇಲಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನ್ಮಾಂತರದಿಂದ ಕುದ್ದು ಕುದ್ದು ಇನ್ನಾದರೂ ಕುದಿಯುತ್ತಲೇ ಇರುವ ಎದೆಯ ಮಜ್ಜೆ ಮಾಂಸಗಳನ್ನು ಮರುಮಾತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಒಡ್ಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾ. Over to Vaishnavi.
Thank you, Moulya. I'll read the translation now. Resistance. Translated by Samvarta Sahil. Now, when all the dissenting red eyes have gone back home, after having conversed among themselves, we are sketching a plan to cross over. In this town of venomous rivals, there are no commands to show us the way. Even the stars have been taught the lessons of untouchability. The scattered darkness has no demands, no buyers. On the path, we drawn to the earth by us with our bare foot. There are landmarks, signposts, and milestones of blood, which have remained unnoticed by the historians. The daylight hides the wounds on our bodies. It is a long time since we have stopped boxing it. We should keep walking on stony paths, burning the blisters under our feet, without pausing for a sigh, without smearing the air with the poison of our pains. We have to keep walking, but how to transgress the barbed wires? Those are barred from touching. Instead, we must tune them, play them, bring the pointed and sharp edges of these fences in contact with our bloods and our hearts that has been boiling and burning for centuries now. Thank you. Back to you, Moulya.
Now my third poem is ಕನ್ನಡಿಯ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ. ಈ ನಡುಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತದೆ, ಅಲುಗದೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕಾಣದಂತೆ, ನನಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರವೇ ಕಾಣುವಂತೆ. ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬುದಕ್ಕೆ ಪುರಾವೆಗಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ ಎನ್ನುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನೇ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ತಲ್ಲೀನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ಹಬ್ಬದ ಅಡುಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಬ್ಬವೇ ಇರದು. ಸೌದೆಯ ಹೊಗೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹಬೆಯಾಡುವ ನೀರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆರೆಯುವ ಸೀಗೆ ಕಡಲೆಗಳ ವಿನಾಕಾರಣ ಸಡಗರಕ್ಕೂ ಜಗ್ಗದೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಯೇ. ತೂತು ಹೃದಯದ ಸೂಜಿಗೆ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಕನಸ ತೂರಿಸುವಾಗಲೂ, ಕನಕಾಂಬರದ ಜೇನು ಬೆರಳುಗಳ ಅಂಟಂಟುಗೊಳಿಸುವಾಗಲೂ, ತೊಟ್ಟಿಲಿನೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ನಿದಿರೆಯನ್ನು ಬೇಡಿ ಕರೆಯುವಾಗಲೂ ದಿಗಿಲಲ್ಲ ನಡುಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದಿರುವ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆಯೇ. ಕತ್ತಲಿನ ಕೊಸರಾಟ, ಹಿತ್ತಲಿನ ಬಿಕ್ಕುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಇಳಿ ಸಂಜೆಗಳ ತುಳಸಿಯ ಪಾದಕಿಟ್ಟ ಪ್ರಣತಿಯ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲೂ ದಿಗಿಲು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದುಕೊಂಡಿರುವ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆಯೇ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ವರುಷಗಳ ನಂತರ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಗಳ ಕೈಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಬಿಡುವು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಇನ್ನೂ ನಡುಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿದ್ದಿರುವ ಅದರ ಮುಖವೆತ್ತಿ ನೋಡುವ ಧೈರ್ಯ ತೋರಿದೆ. 14ರ ಬಾಲೆ. ಚೀರುತ್ತಿರುವೆ, ಕಂಪಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲವಲ್ಲ? ಈಗ ನೆನಪಾಗುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಯಾರ್ಯಾರೋ ಅವಳನ್ನು ಕೊಲೆಗೈಯುವಾಗ ನನ್ನದೂ ಒಂದು ಯತ್ನವಿರಲಿ ಎಂದು ಇರಿದು ಬಂದದ್ದು ನೆನೆದು ಥರಗುಟ್ಟುತ್ತಿರುವೆ. ಹೂಳಲು ಮರೆತ ಶವವನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆಂದು ಹೂಡಲಿ ಈಗ ತೋಚುತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ ಹಾಗೆ ಹತ್ಯೆಯಾದ ಈ 14ರ ಬಾಲೆಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ಮೊದಲ ಮತ್ತು ಕಡೆಯ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ಕಂಡದ್ದು ಕನ್ನಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ.
Thank you, Malia. I'll read the translation now. Mirror the Witness, translated by Kamalakar Bhatt. Something always lies unmoving there, right in the middle of the house, invisible to everyone, and to me, inevitably visible. There is no proof that it is not there. I am the only witness for its presence. The feast prepared with great efforts has no festivity. It lies there, not yielding to the unnecessary excitement of the mixture of herbs and oils. In the bathroom, where steam fuses with smoke, while inserting colored dreams through the eye of the heart's needle, or while getting the fingers sticky with golden honey, or while begging for sleep to descend into the cradle, all of one's anxiety is focused on that one lying at the center of the house. Amid the struggling in the darkness or sobs in the backyard, even at dusk when a lamp is lit at the feet of Tulsi, one is worried only about that thing lying there. After many years, freed from all responsibilities, I made time to muster up the courage to look up at its face, still lying there, a girl of 14, screaming, trembling, yet invisible to everyone. Now I remember how she was assassinated by so many, and I too had a part in it. I shiver at the memory. Where do I bury the forgotten corpse? I fail to decide. By the way, the last time I had seen this child of 14 who was murdered was in the mirror. Thank you, Moulya. Your poems were so empowering and so impactful. I understood them twice, once in Kannada and once in English. So,
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much, Asha.
Yeah. Dear poets and all our viewers watching us, this session is now at its conclusion. I would like to thank
Vaishnavi, because Malia has not, she could not come. I do not know why she has not come, but we have translated her poems. So I think that Mita will read her poems in translation and you can read in English, because we respect to poetry. Though poet does not respect to our stage or our platform, we don't care, but we respect to poetry. So because poetry came to us, we have translated. So I request you both to read the translation in English and Hindi.
Sure, ma'am.
मीता जी,
I
आप
will.
उसके जो ट्रांसलेशन है आप हिंदी में पढ़िए और वैष्णवी उसको अंग्रेजी में पढ़िए.
ओके. फर्स्ट इज मैं मिठाई चोर हूँ. मैं मिठाई चोर हूँ. मिठाइयाँ तुम्हारे दुकान में सजी हुई और मेरी उंगलियां हो गई हैं चिपचिपी. अब अपने मुंह में एक भी नहीं डाल पा रहे. दूसरी है कितना मूर्ख है मेरा दिल, जब भी कोई खटखटाहट सुनाई देती है अपना दरवाजा खोल देता है. थर्ड, ख्वाहिशें मुझे जलाती हैं, तब चमक उठती है मेरी आंखें और मैं नैतिकता को रख देती हूँ पास ही के दराज में और अप्सराओं की आंखों में पट्टी बांध बदल जाती हूँ शैतान में केवल एक चुम्बन के लिए. फोर्थ है मुझे इंतजार है लेकिन किसका. मुझे इंतजार है लेकिन किसका. वह आदमी जो मेरे लिए फूल लाता है, मीठी मीठी बातें भी करता है. वह आदमी जो मुझे देखता है फिर देखता ही रहता है, जो मुझसे बतियाता है और मेरी बातें सुनता है. वह जो मेरे लिए रोता है, मैं उस पर दया करती हूँ और प्यार भी. पांचवी है, फिफ्थ इज मैंने देखे पद चिन्ह, काले धब्बे आने और जाने के, सफेद बर्फ जिसके लिए वे कहते हैं कि उसके साफ सफेद दुख हैं. मैं अपने अकेलेपन पर रोती हूँ. यह रोना ही है जो अजनबियों को इकट्ठा कर लेता है. एट्थ, वे आते हैं मेरी जिंदगियों में नन्हे झरनों जैसे. हम अचानक उनमें डूबने लगते हैं बिना जाने कि कौन हमें देता है पानी और नमक और हम में छोड़ देता है ढेर सारी कड़वाहट. थैंक यू. ओवर टू वैष्णवी.
Thank you, Mita ji. I will read the 9 short but very powerful poems. First one. I am the thief of sweetmeats displayed in your shop. My fingers became sticky, but I failed to drop one into my mouth. Second one. How foolish, whenever my heart hears a knocking, it opens its doors. Third one. Desire enflames me, and my eyes glimmer. I stuff morals in the nearest drawer. I turn into a devil and blindfold my angels just for a kiss. Fourth one. I wait, but what do I wait for? A man who brings me flowers and sweet words? A man who looks at me and sees me. He talks to me and listens to me. A man who weeps for me, and I pity him, and I love him. Fifth one. I saw foot traces, black spots, coming and going in the white snow. The white snow, they said, was pure, but now betrayed. The sparrows and cats and the ghosts of my thoughts, before the lazy sun rose, came out and erased them all. Sixth one. Knocks on the door. Who? I sweep the dust of my loneliness under the rug. I arrange a smile and I open. The last one. A stranger looks at me. A stranger speaks to me. To a stranger I smile. To a stranger I speak. a stranger listens to me, and at his clean white sorrows, I weep to the loneliness that gathers strangers. And now the final one. They enter our lives like small streams, and suddenly we drown in them and become unaware of who gave us water and salt and left us in that bitterness. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thanks a lot, dear friends, all of you. This was the day with the storms and rain in Trivandrum, in the city where I live, and that is why after 5 o'clock I had a big technical issues. Still, this session was fantastic. Different languages, different cultures, different ideas. In one session itself, we can conclude or we can talk about the whole earth. When Vadim is talking about pandemic or mask, when Moëz is talking about the war and the memories of war, when Malia Swami is talking about the war of a young girl, emotional and very powerful inner struggle, when Yesudas is talking about the problem or the war of languages and identity, and Anju Makhija is also carries memories from very ancient, not very ancient, from the struggle between two countries to struggle in modern days. Mohsen, he also talk about the struggle and the war between Iran and Iraq. He is Irani. He is Iranian poet. So the highlight of this time is the war, the struggle, the pain, the sorrow. Like I struggle with the technical problems today. We are struggling every moment, and we poets are giving words to each and every thought. So this was a wonderful session for me, even though there were some technical hinge, but I am sure that in YouTube it will be okay. Otherwise, we will download and then we will work on it and then we will load it again. So I thank you all, especially Moëz and Vadim, who came from they are very busy and they came from a very distance. Moëz, I always appreciate your poetry, and I know that you're extremely busy, but you came here. I'm grateful. Vadim is also always moving, and he was many times, his daughter is so lovely and a great artist of theatre. I was telling them that I have never seen such kind of theatre, the modern theatre of ballet, what Vadim's daughter has presented in Kritya stage. Fantastic. If you have time, you please watch it. Yesudas വളരെ നല്ല കവിതകളുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, നല്ല ഓർമ്മകളുണ്ട്. അച്ഛന്റെ മനസ്സത്തില് യേശുദാസ് കയറിയില്ലേ? യേശുദാസ് എല്ലാ സ്ഥാനത്തിലും കയറിയ നന്നായിട്ട് പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്ത് വളരെ നന്ദി. We must respect our language and we must save our language. The language is also like we say that the lion, we have to save the lion, so same way we have to save the language. And പറയുന്ന എന്താണ്, നമുക്ക് ഒരു പറയുന്നില്ലേ, ഈ പ്രജാതി മറിഞ്ഞു പോയതാണ്, ഈ പ്രജാതി പോയി, അതുപോലെ ലാംഗ്വേജ് മറിക്കാനാണ് ദിവസം. We must take care of it. Malia Swami, thanks a lot. Wonderful, very powerful poetry you had. And Mita ji, आपने बहुत अच्छा पढ़ा. Very nice, very calm, and very beautifully you read. Thank you for reading such a beautiful way. Vaishnavi, you are the hero of this session. You have taken this session so nicely, she is the youngest person among us, and she has done wonderful job. Vaishnavi, God bless you, all of you. Thank you
so
very
much.
much. Thanks a lot.